Everywhere you look, people are terrified of AI replacing jobs. Programmers, artists, writers, designers, customer support, even lawyers and researchers. And honestly, I think most people are focusing on the wrong thing, because if machines can do more work for us, that should be good news. But is it? For thousands of years, humanity dreamed of automation. Machines that reduce labor. Machines that eliminate repetitive work. Machines that give us more freedom. So why does AI feel less like liberation and more like a threat? Maybe AI is not the real problem. Maybe the real problem is that we build a society where humans need jobs to earn the right to survive. Have you ever thought about the promise we were always told? Technology would make life easier. The washing machine would save hours of labor. Computers would eliminate paperwork. The internet would reduce friction. Automation would free humanity from boring work. It worked. Productivity exploded. One person today can do the work that once required entire teams. But something strange happened. Even as technology made labor more efficient, people didn't become dramatically freer. The economic prediction. In 1930, Keynes predicted that growing productivity would lead to a 15-hour working week by 2030. In theory, generative AI should save us time, but the reality is much more complex. The gas theory of work. Work is like a gas. It expands to fill all of the available space. Any efficiency gain is immediately reabsorbed. Workers simply use the freed time to perform additional tasks. The digitalization paradox. Automated processes that aim to free people's time can also make that work more complex, generating new tasks that many workers perceive as mundane. We should not take promises of gains in productivity at face value. We still work long hours as hourly compensation for the average worker barely grew. We still burn out. We still tie healthcare, housing, and dignity to employment, which raises a strange question. If technology keeps reducing necessary labor, why does life still feel like an endless competition to stay economically useful? Previous waves of automation mostly targeted physical labor. The Industrial Revolution marked the era where machines replaced muscle. Automating physical labor completely disrupted how people sold their time and how the market operated. Demand plummeted for skilled independent craftsmen who owned their tools. Instead, the market demanded a massive, cheap pool of unskilled laborers to simply monitor and feed the machines. Millions of agricultural and artisanal workers were forced to migrate to rapidly growing industrial cities. Work ceased to be flexible or dictated by nature. The market demanded that human labor conform to the relentless, 24/7 ticking of the factory clock. But AI feels different because it targets cognitive labor: writing, coding, research, analysis, translation, design. For the first time, millions of middle-class knowledge workers are starting to feel something industrial workers experienced decades ago: replaceability. And that feeling changes people psychologically, because your job is not just income. It becomes identity, status, security, purpose. So when people say they're afraid of AI, what they often mean is, I'm afraid society won't value me anymore. When people imagine AI replacing jobs, they often picture a total one-to-one replacement. Human out, robot in. That's usually not how automation actually works. Companies don't need AI to completely replace humans. They only need it to reduce the amount of humans required. One programmer using AI tools can suddenly produce much more. One support worker can handle more tickets. One designer can generate dozens of concepts instantly. And that changes something extremely important: bargaining power. If companies need fewer workers, workers become easier to replace. Wages weaken. Entry-level roles disappear. Competition intensifies. That's why even partial automation can massively reshape society. The real danger is not necessarily unemployment, it's humans losing leverage. Now, to be fair, this doesn't require evil corporations plotting against humanity. The incentives alone are enough. A worker needs salary, sleep, healthcare, training, vacation, management, negotiation. Software doesn't. If AI reduces labor costs while maintaining output, many companies will adopt it. Because in modern capitalism, companies are rewarded for efficiency. And AI is potentially the greatest efficiency tool ever created. But this reveals the deeper issue. The economy treats labor as a cost to minimize. Yet for ordinary people, labor is the main way to survive. That contradiction becomes unstable once automation gets powerful enough. So now we arrive at the real question. If society can produce abundance with less human labor, why are humans punished for becoming less necessary? Seriously, why does increased productivity not automatically mean shorter work weeks, more free time, better living standards, less stress? Why does it often mean layoffs instead? Maybe the problem is not that AI can do work. Maybe the problem is that our economic system only knows how to distribute resources through jobs. So what should people actually fight for? Not stopping technology completely. That probably isn't realistic. The real fight is over who benefits from automation. Some of the ideas already being discussed include human-centered AI regulation, laws requiring human oversight in important decisions like the EU AI, which categorizes AI into risk levels. High-risk systems like those used in employment or essential services are strictly regulated. Mandatory bargaining. Companies shouldn't be able to massively automate work without negotiation and transition plans. Profit sharing. If AI dramatically increases productivity, maybe workers should receive part of those gains instead of only shareholders. According to OECD Economic Reports 2026, economists argue that since AI-driven productivity is a result of collective human data, the gains should be shared with the workforce rather than just being captured by capital. Retraining rights. If your role gets automated, companies could be obligated to help transition workers into new roles to ensure that the workforce has a right to digital competency and that companies are responsible for technology transfer and skill building. Finally, we should have shorter work weeks. 4-day week global should be considered. The concept is to use the 20-30% productivity gain from AI to reduce human hours. If machines make society more productive, then humans should work less instead of simply becoming disposable. Maybe the goal of civilization was never supposed to be endless labor. Maybe the point of technology was to give humans more time to think, to create, to love, to rest, to actually live. AI is not the first machine that replaced labor, but it may be the first machine that forces humanity to confront a question we've avoided for a very long time. If people are no longer economically necessary, do they still deserve dignity? Like and subscribe for more contents. Thanks for watching.